So do you see how everything kind of layers on top of one another? I'm just trying to make the right choice. Opinions are like butts. Everyone has one. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna come right out and say it. Stop normalizing being the crusty, dusty, sleep-deprived, overworked mom. Stop it. Let's talk about how you can step into being the most confident mom and version of yourself ever. Okay, Boss Hobbies fam, welcome back to The Beast Den. My name is Sloan the Beast. If you are new here, welcome. I'm your companion in the chaos. I help moms and entrepreneurs juggle the perfect imbalance between work life and motherhood. A little bit of context if you're new here, I am a mom of 4 small children. I'm a serial entrepreneur. So today I want to talk to you about how exactly it is that you can step into being the most confident mom that you absolutely can be. I recently came across a study that said that Gen Z moms are actually less confident than millennial moms. And as I read the article, a lot of what it was saying, a lot of the findings were actually not even that surprising the more I started to think about it, because there is so much information out there, right? There's this saying that opinions are like butts, everyone has one. In our social media society, not only does everyone have an opinion, but everyone feels the need to impose their opinions on you. So when everyone is imposing their opinions on you, of course it's going to make it really difficult for you to not second guess your choices in parenting. It's going to make it really difficult for you to even want to share some of the things that you're experiencing, some of the things that you are overcoming, some of the things that you are really excited about, even your wins. You're like, do I really want to share this because granola moms have something to say about everything? I want to tell you that that is totally okay, whether you choose to share, whether you choose not to share. What's not okay is other people feeling the need to impose their opinions and their ideologies on you as a parent. If you were given these children, it was for a reason. I like to say God trusts me a little bit too much, but there's a reason why he gave me 4 kids, and not just 4 kids, but these 4 kids with big personalities and big attitudes and big everything, right? God knew that I could do it, right? He saw something in me. And so if you are in this space where you're like, I'm just trying to make the right choice, but what is the right choice when politics is telling me this and the school system is telling me that and people on social media are telling me this and my favorite influencer says I need to do that? No, the right choice for you and your family, really only you know what that is. No one can tell you what that is, because no one understands your family dynamic. No one understands the complexity of what your lifestyle is like, what your past experiences have been. No one understands that. So it's impossible for me to tell you what the right decision for you is when I don't have all that context. If you were given these children, I want you to stand in the truth. I want you to stand in the truth that those children were given to you for a purpose. And it's because you have everything you need already inside you to be able to parent them into being the best human beings that they can be. Just the fact that you're even here, right? Just the fact that you're even watching this video really should be a testament to you of just how committed you are to that cause, right? Just how committed you are to being the best parent you can be. I know that we are just trying not to relive the same traumas as our childhood, and I totally get it, but I do want to make a word on just your parenting style, because there's a lot of people out there that are going to give opinions on how you parent, and this is the right way and this is the right way. There is no right or wrong way. It is only what makes sense for you and your family. As far as traumas go, we're creating different traumas. Like, if I'm being honest, we're creating different traumas, and these different traumas will make your child the person that they become. It's not to say that this was our intention, is to create these traumas. It's not. But if your child does not go through hardship, how do you expect them to learn how to navigate life when they're adults? It's impossible. One thing does not happen without the other. We need to go through trials in order to know how to handle situations when we're adults and are building families of our own. I see this relationship very much like I see a lot of other relationships. When I think about that, right, when I think about what is the premise of all good relationships, it's becoming a better listener. You know, be a better listener. Listen to your children. Listen to the projections of your children, because that is a pretty good place to identify, okay, where can I be a little bit better? What are the signs that maybe I'm missing? Just be a better listener. Look at the cues when they're playing. What kind of games are they playing? Right? I like to be very mindful of, okay, when my kids are wrestling or when they're playing, you know, they like to play like Fast and Furious and things like that. What are they saying? What is the story plot that they're following? And I'll stop the game and we will have a conversation. And we'll have a conversation of, where'd you learn this? What do you think that means? The other day, my son said something like, oh, I'm gonna regret that. And I was like, okay, well, what does that mean? What do you mean I'm going to regret that? Can you use that in a sentence a little differently? Where did we hear that? Becoming a better listener is a perfect way for you to become more confident as a mother, because now you're able to listen in and identify some of the cues that your kids are not going to tell you. Keeping in mind that just because they know how to talk does not mean your kids know how to communicate. And this is true even in adults. How many of us know how to talk, but we are not the best communicators? So becoming a better listener will make you a better parent, because then again, you could listen to those non-verbal cues or cues that maybe they haven't necessarily expressed to you, or concerns that they haven't expressed to you, that now you can identify and then, you know, handle or have these conversations revolving them. Your job, or I will use me as an example. So my job in my household, the way that I have changed my parenting approach, is I make sure that I'm facilitating an environment where my children truly, like, call it delusional, but truly believe that anything is possible for them. And that is really how we have not only changed our parenting, our parenting capabilities, or not even just the way that I've become more confident, but this has changed my entire life. This is really how we have built our dream life throughout the past few years, is really understanding that anything is possible for me. And so I parent my children from this place of potential and not the milestones that, you know, WebMD says that we have to have, or that my pediatrician says that we need to meet. I meet them where they're at. And I see where there's areas where they could be challenged a little more, where they really can go that extra mile, where they can get a little bit uncomfortable. So I parent my children based off of this idea of, okay, we are raising children in a society that pretty much rewards no work ethic. We are parenting in a society that's like, well, you know, it's fine if do it if you want, don't do it if you don't want. No. You need to be disciplined to reach your goals. You need to be disciplined to get to the places that I know you can too, right? Keeping in mind that I am a homeschooling mom, so I do view my children not just from the point of view of like I'm their parent, but also the point of view of I'm their educator. So as their educator, it is my responsibility to challenge them, to open their mind, to use life and its experiences as a learning opportunity. I don't use it as a way to shelter them. I don't use this you know, blessing that we have to be able to homeschool our kids to just say, well, oh, you're 2 years old, maybe we shouldn't have this conversation, or you're 4 years old, maybe we shouldn't do that thing. No, I expose them to so much because I see the potential that they have, and I cater to that. All right, so my next tip is to put yourself out there. And I know this can be very uncomfortable, especially if you're not into, you know, being out and about. I'm an omnivore. I have these seasons where I can be around a lot of people, but for the most part, I like being by myself. Instead of saying like, I wish I could, like, oh, I would love to go to the bounce house, but I wish I could, but my kids just, you know, you don't know that. Or I wish I could go to a fancy restaurant with my kids, but yeah, I don't know how they'd behave. You don't know that if you've never tried. You don't have anything to compare it to because you've never put yourself in that element. So most recently, I took a 4-hour trip to Miami to visit a family member. And when I arrived, she asked me to meet her at a bar/restaurant. And I was kind of worried at first because obviously my kids have been in the car for 4 hours. Now I'm asking for them to, you know, be in a restaurant where they have to sit and behave. And I was solo dolo on this one. So we sat in the car and we kind of had an intentionality briefing, if you will. And I just told them, like, okay, how do we behave? What are our rules? I incentivized them. I said, you know, after this restaurant, we're going to be going somewhere else, but I will not go if you guys can't behave yourselves. And that's one thing I want to tell you is be a person of your word. If you are a person that's like, well, you know, you're not going to get this if you do this, and then you still give them that prize, that reward, that incentive, you kind of just lost so much credibility there, because now they know that even if they behave good or bad, and again, these are subjective terms. My kids, I have certain standards I hold them to and certain standards I expect them to hold themselves to. So, and that is very different to other people, and I understand that, but those are my standards in my household. So when I say good or bad, again, that's all perception. But if you are not a person that is firm on your word, your kids will not, they won't follow through. They know that you're just going to kind of do whatever anyways. If I say I'm not going somewhere, I will literally walk out. I won't drive there, or if we're there and they're misbehaving, I will walk out. I don't care if I lose my money. I don't care, because I'm raising children that I want their yeses to be yes and their no's to be no. And because I parent from a place of leadership, it is very important that I am a person of my word. So going back to the story, so they behaved awesome at the restaurant. We ended up going to a bounce house, and normally, like one of those like trampoline arcade places, I don't like going to those because I feel like they smell like feet and I hate them. I think that they're super overstimulating for kids, and I don't like them. I don't like places like that, or Chuck E. Cheese. Like, just the overstimulation stresses me out. But I had already committed. We got there. Again, quick briefing before we got into the space. And by the end of our time there, I can't tell you how many people came up to me and were like, how the hell do you do that? Like, your kids were so well behaved. When you said it's time to go, they packed their little things and they left. They were so respectful. Like, how do you do it? How do you not lose your crap? Like, how? And I was just like, well, I've learned not to let little things stress me out. I've learned how to, again, let my yeses be yeses and my no's be no's. I've learned to listen, to have conversations with my children, and to, again, meet them where they're at. I listen to them, to their actions, to the way that if they're antsy, I know better than to go into certain situations, because I have exposed my children enough to where I know when that's just not the day. So do you see how everything kind of layers on top of one another? You can't have one without the other. Everything really compounds into this total package, where now you can be in situations where you're alone with your kids at the park, and if they're having a meltdown, you're not going to lose your crap, because you know, okay, I got to slow down. Maybe the signs were there, and maybe I shouldn't have brought them to the park in the first place because they didn't take a nap or whatever the case is. But here we are. And if everyone is looking at me, guess what? We all have those moments. So again, being the most confident mom is knowing your child. All right, the last piece that I want to share with you, just about being the most confident mother that you can be. Some days you just kind of have to fake it till you make it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you every day is perfect, because we know better than that, right? We know that there's amazing days, and then there's days and moments where it's like, can I do nothing right? There are days where you have to fake it till you make it. And one of the ways that I do that is I make sure that I am going through my morning routine. I make sure that I, go through my non-negotiables, which if you watch my other videos in the It Mom series, are, making sure that I'm dressed in the morning, making sure my face is on, making sure that I've had my breakfast, that I'm moving my body, that I'm feeling like the most confident version of me as a mother, completely detached from being a parent, because I need to make sure that I'm grounded. And in order for me to deal with the pivots and the chaos, I need to make sure that within myself, I can ground myself, that I have habits and coping mechanisms so that I'm not lashing out, so that I'm not acting crazy. If you do not have routines in place for yourself, if you do not have non-negotiables for yourself, if you do not feel like the most confident version of yourself as a woman, then it makes it very difficult for you to parent confidently, because those insecurities will leak into your children. So if you haven't taken the time to reinvent yourself, to get to know yourself, to create a vision for your family, for your life, I encourage you to join me in my course. It's a Synergy in Motherhood and Business course. We do have a spring launch coming up. So if you want to join that, I will leave the link down below so that you can get on the wait list. It is 6 weeks to go from feeling overwhelmed and like we talked about, like you're drowning, crusty dusty. I have no control over my time. I have no control over my energy. I don't feel like I'm doing this right. I'm just kind of improvising my days, waiting for my child to become 18. That is not the purpose of this. You want to enjoy all the seasons of motherhood. You want to live out the peak of your entrepreneurship and motherhood journey right now. You deserve that. And so I want you to join me in the Synergy course. Of course, all of the information is down below. I hope that this video was helpful for you. I hope that you learned something and that you can step into being the most confident mom that you absolutely were designed to be. If you haven't already subscribed, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. We have so many videos coming up. So excited for you to step into your It Mom era. I'm so excited for you to enjoy motherhood and entrepreneurship and living out your passion projects and doing all of the things that are important to you. Thank you so much for being here, and sweet nightmares, Beast Fam. I will see you in the next one.
White snow, red sky, reach up for so